Remember, ladies, aspire to be a Monique in a world full of Angela Yees. Sip on that. What up, loves? It's Naturally Be Nikki, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications for all the latest tea I drop. I do appreciate you. Y'all know why I'm here, okay? We are getting into Monique versus everybody, okay? Our girl Monique is out here shaking the entire table, okay? She's out here shaking the table. And y'all, it's a lot, okay? I will say that this is a lot of tea that we about to get into. Even I had to take a few steps back, okay? I had to take my time because, in the words of Monique, I had to do my research on this, okay, y'all? I did my research on this before I came to give y'all this tea. So listen up. Sit tight, grab a blanket and some snacks, because we about to get into it. What's the tea, sis? Boom, here it is. Okay, Monique is calling for a boycott of Netflix after receiving an extremely low offer of $500,000 to do a comedy special for their streaming service. Now, the problem with this is we have other comedians doing comedy specials on Netflix. One, Amy Schumer, who was initially offered $11 million to do a comedy special for Netflix. After some negotiation, they then bumped it up to $13 million for her to do a comedy special for their streaming service. Then we have Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock both earning $20 million apiece to do the same thing Monique would be doing on Netflix if she took the offer. In addition to the $500,000 offer, Netflix also included in the contract that Monique could not do any shows for 2 years, okay? She couldn't do any other comedy specials, any other gigs for 2 years, okay? The 2 years that she couldn't do shows or any other gigs, Monique and her husband said that's equivalent to $2 million. $2 million that she could make in that amount of time versus the $500,000 that Netflix offered her for that one gig. $500,000 versus $2 million. Who taking that? Who taking that? No deal, okay? That's crazy. Nobody in their right mind is gonna take that trash of a deal. Like, Netflix, shame on y'all. Netflix, shame on you, for real. And we talking about a legend. We not talking about some chick off the street. We talking about Monique. I've been thinking about this for 2 days straight. I cannot think of a Black woman comedian that tops Monique. I cannot. And if you can, please let me know. Let me know. I'll wait. I got time. That's because there is none. Now, if you want to talk about up-and-coming comedians, Tiffany Haddish, yes, she is well on her way to that legendary status, okay? She is well on her way. I definitely see that in her future. But we talking about right now, in this moment. There is no Black woman comedian that tops Monique. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it tangled. Follow me. Netflix, you're wilding for the respect. It's crazy out in these streets. Stay woke. Now, Monique and her team, which is composed of her husband, Sydney, who's also her manager, and also her attorney, Ricky Anderson, they together had a conversation with Netflix where they were going back and forth trying to figure out and get to the root of the discrepancy in these numbers, okay? So they were asking Netflix, how did y'all come up with this $500,000 number for me? How did you do that? How did you come up with that? And Netflix replied, we're not really going off of your resume. What you've done in the past, everything leading up until this moment. We're not really regarding that. We're going off of what we anticipate you'll do in the future. Monique and her team went back at Netflix. They asked, well, how did you come up with Amy Schumer's number? How did you come up with that number? We're just curious. And Netflix came back and said, well, she has sold out 2 Madison Square Garden shows, and she also has a hit movie that went on, I believe, in 2017. What you're referring to, isn't that a part of her resume? And Monique said Netflix proceeded to say nothing, okay? It was dead silence. Nothing said at all, okay? They didn't have an answer. I'm gonna let y'all sip on that. Monique has said out of her mouth that she thinks that Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, Amy Schumer, they have earned and they've gotten the numbers that they deserve for their work. She's not disputing that at all. Her problem is with the amount that was given to her. Instead of remaining silent and just taking the deal like so many do, especially women of color in the industry, Monique has decided to go against the grain, okay, and speak out on these shenanigans. Instead of a comedy special, she has gone on a I'ma drag you tour, okay, for everybody that's coming for her and her coins. Some of the stops on Monique's I'ma Drag You tour include, but are not limited to, multiple radio stations, The View, and most infamously, The Breakfast Club, okay, which is trending on YouTube, okay? It's hot. The tea is hot in that interview. Monique, very classily, okay, goes on to The Breakfast Club to address pretty specifically Charlamagne tha God for giving her Donkey of the Day for taking her stance against Netflix and calling for a boycott of the streaming service. The thing that was a huge slap on the knee for me was the fact that Charlamagne tha God kept going on the money, the price, the exact numbers, 13 mil, 20 million. Why do you feel you deserve these numbers? But if y'all watch all of these interviews that Monique is doing, she never once mentioned a dollar amount. Okay, she never said, I deserve $20 million. She never said, I deserve $13 million. She never gave out a number, ever. She simply said, if you all consider me a legend, and let's note here, the vice president of comedy for Netflix called Monique a legend himself, called her a legend himself. If y'all view me as a legend, why don't I get paid what legends get paid? Why am I not making what legends make? She's demanding to be paid what she is worth. That's really all she's asking, okay? But yet and still, Charlamagne tha God fighting till the end on what have you done lately? You have nothing to show for it, okay? But on Monique's side of things, from her perspective, she feels her resume alone should speak for itself. No matter how long she's kind of been out of the game and she's been laying low, she's still a legend. And that's very much so true. That just doesn't up and change because you take a little bit of a hiatus from the game. And that don't make you any less of a legend. Let's look at Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. When the last time you seen them doing stuff and putting out content? They just coming back in the game. But nobody questions their legendary status. But when it comes to Monique, we gotta think about it. How quickly so many of us forget. Throughout the entire interview, there were multiple questions in regards to the Netflix offer that Charlamagne tha God was asking Monique. And Monique was like, if you're going to sit here and throw comments out about me, if you're going to talk about me and give me Donkey of the Day, at least have your facts straight, okay? Why are you asking me questions you should already know? That's your bad, okay? And she literally said, you up here, you know, trying to call yourself the guru of Black culture, but you fail to do your research and you fail to know the history on us as a culture. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you messed up, okay? And I was here for it because she literally had time for all her opposition. She went on each platform, okay, one by one, the whole tour, the whole thing, addressing each one. Piece by piece, just dragging them for filth, okay? Just so eloquently, so classily, okay, so gracefully, okay? It was sensational. Of all the interviews I watched this weekend, none of the interviewers, once they realized they was wrong, and I mean dead wrong, none of them gave Monique her just due, even in that moment. Nobody could say thank you. You know, nobody could humble themselves and take the L accordingly and apologize. I think I would have had way more respect for the interviewers and the hosts in those positions if they just would have took the L humbly, you know, humbly take the L and just say, thank you, Monique, you was right, I was wrong, I apologize, thank you for enlightening me and providing me that information that I lacked prior to this interview. That's literally all they had to say and things would have been cool. There's nothing wrong with apologizing, yo. People make mistakes every day, B. It's okay to apologize. It's okay. She said that a lot of these heavy hitters that we love so much behind the scenes kind of have nasty attitudes. And that's what we find out. That's the tea we end up getting from Monique. All these years, we hear all these things about her. You know, she's hard to work with. She's disrespectful. She's a nightmare. When in actuality, she just has a voice and she ain't afraid to use it. We also learned from Monique where all of these labels came from. And we dated back to Precious, okay, which came out around 2009 is when the movie came out. out, she tells us that she was only paid $50,000 to do that project. Now, mind you, that project grossed over $45 million in revenue, okay? Monique was only paid $50,000 to do that project. Again, the numbers, they speak for themselves. Numbers don't lie. Monique did the role, she did her job, she fulfilled her contract in its entirety. After that, she went on about her business, went on about her day, you feel me? But next thing she knows, she gets calls from Lee Daniels, the person she had the contract with, and also Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lionsgate. They're all blowing up her phone to see if she can do some extra work for the movie for free. That's the kicker. For free. They wanted her to do additional work outside of her contract, which involved her promoting the movie, traveling internationally to promote it for free. Being the real one that she is, my girl said no. Monique said no. She didn't have time for it. She let them know. She shut them down. Now, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Lionsgate, they had a problem with that, okay? Because they don't hear no too often. They blackballed her. Now, mind you, Monique pointed out that if I did anything that was outside of my contract, you can hear this on The View. You can go watch The View, and I'm going to put the links up there for you to see. I'm going to put the links below so you can watch each of these interviews. She said in The View, if I didn't complete anything contractually, then I would have been sued. But I never was. Monique was never sued for that mess, okay? But instead of being sued, she was socially isolated. She was exiled from the entertainment industry. You ain't see her doing no work after that. After Precious, Monique disappeared. She disappeared. Where's Monique? Where is she? Where is she? That's because those heavy hitters, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lionsgate, they kicked her to the curb. Okay, when they don't like you, don't nobody like you. That's why she disappeared. And Whoopi Goldberg, who also started out as a comedian in the game, she decided she gonna cut Monique off and tell her that, you should have called me. We've had this conversation with each other before, and you should have called me so I could have schooled you to the game. I could have schooled you to what was expected of you. AKA that this bullcrap right here is acceptable. You got to continue to tap dance. You got to continue to settle and continue to do things that aren't right just to keep your name in the game. That's basically what Whoopi was saying. Just smile and wave, continue to tap dance to keep your job. That's what Whoopi was saying, okay, pretty much. And Monique shut that down too. Monique's not going to do it. She refuses to settle. If you watch all of these interviews that I mentioned with multiple radio stations, The Breakfast Club, and The View, her story remains seamless, okay? It remains so consistent, and consistency to me equals truth. Okay, when you lie, you gotta keep lying. You gotta tell a story on top of that story so you can stay on top. No, she ain't lying. Every interview she go to, that story is on point. It's consistent every time you see her, no matter the platform. And that to me implies she's telling the truth. I don't know about you, but it seems like facts to me. This is not unique just to the comedy industry. It's not just unique to the entertainment industry. This is a common problem as women of color in every field. Okay, so Monique isn't just standing up for women of color in entertainment. She's sticking up for women of color, period. Asking women of color to finally stand up, know your worth, and fight for your worth. Okay, even if that means taking the road less traveled. Okay, you feel me? Being a leader and sticking up and saying what's right, it's not always the easiest thing to do. And people are quick to say you right behind closed doors, but everybody ain't gonna walk with you. We got a couple of comments here and there, but there has been way more hate and negativity thrown towards Monique than it has been support and protection. And a lot of people that have a problem with how Monique is playing things, a lot of these people have not let go of the slave mentality that we have been conditioned to have for over hundreds of years, okay? And that's why people are so upset with Monique. That's why people want to disregard Monique. That's why people don't want to listen to Monique, is because she is exposing a lot of the problems and a lot of the issues within the Black community that a lot of us want to ignore. Monique said, "Is enough, dog. It's time. It's time. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it." Okay, Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, all these people got the same look on their face The same look on their face, sickness, okay? They shooketh, snatched, sick. They all got the same facial expression. They holding on to that slave mentality. Don't try to fight for a seat at the table. Just be lucky you here. Just be glad you here in the same space. Don't try to strive for better. Just settle. Just take it. Take it. Thank you. Thank you, master. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And continue tap dancing and playing the game. That's what I mean by a slave mentality. You know what I'm saying? Just settling for the bare minimum, just to say that we got it. Honestly, this is gonna be a hard battle to fight, but I'm positive that Monique is well aware of that, and she's at a point where she's okay with that. You feel me? She's okay. She said herself that she's still gonna put out content. She's still gonna do what she's gonna do. But in the meantime, she's gonna speak up and she's gonna fight for equality in the process. And since Monique has been going on this I'ma Drag You tour special, Will Packer and Oprah Winfrey have both spoken out since. Will Packer says, "But no matter how ugly the truth is, I will not publicly degrade a Black woman. We can't afford that, not ever, but especially not in the age of Trump. There is a reason Black Hollywood, a pretty supportive and tight-knit group, is largely silent on this one." So Oprah has spoken on it, and she, you know, she kept it real high level, talking about the light. I'm gonna be the light in the midst of all this darkness, okay? A little bit of light can drive out the darkness. I refuse to stoop down and fight negative with negative, no matter who that person may be. I feel like it's time to really talk about this thing and cut the bull. You feel me? Monique is giving us plenty of tea, okay? Tea for days, dragging people for filth left and right, okay? She has receipts, she has stats, she has facts, okay, and everything is adding up, okay? If you do the math, it's adding up. Numbers don't lie, the facts are there. So until somebody else speaks up, I'm rocking with Monique until proven otherwise. You feel me? So what's next? What can we do to create change? What can we do? I'm hoping that Monique's stance won't be done in vain. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that the Black community, we can work through these issues, these deeply rooted issues that we have, and finally stand up and say, hey, y'all, let's make some change. Let's break these bad habits. Let's break this vicious cycle and this slave mentality and stand up and protect and value the Black woman. It's never too late to do that. You feel me? So let's start today. Let's start today by supporting this queen, this legend, this icon, Monique, in her stance, and boycott Netflix. Let's do what we got to do. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because they got great content. They do. They have great shows. It's going to be hard. Ain't nobody say it's going to be easy. But the impact is going to be far greater than any show on Netflix could ever be. You feel me? Equality for Black women in every field. That's way more important than some Orange is the New Black. You feel what I'm saying? Also, these white-owned businesses such as Netflix, they have said over and over and over again, they do not hold value in the Black audience, okay, and in the Black dollar. They just don't. It's the truth. It's the reality of what it is. So that means we have to continue creating Black-owned businesses. We have to continue supporting Black-owned businesses. We have to continue buying from Black-owned businesses, y'all. We have to stick with one another, okay, and create with one another. That's how you hurt them, okay? You got to get in the pockets, you feel me? You got to take your talents to South Beach, you feel me? That's how we got to rock. We really got to stop continually trying to fight for a seat at the table when we can just create our own. You feel me? It's time. It's time we create our own. And I'm not talking about we just create it and we just gonna do stuff just to do it. I'm talking about we create another table and we execute at that table. You feel me? We recreate quality, great content, so you can't deny it. You feel me? You ain't gonna have no choice but to want to sit at that table. You feel me? That's how we gotta play it. Hit them where it hurts. You gotta hit them where it hurts. You know, Monique, if you're watching this, I really want to thank you so much for doing this. As a woman who aspires to establish a career in the entertainment industry, you reminded me how powerful this job really is and how much power it is in my voice and the information that I feed out into the world. You've inspired me to just continue working harder and being the best that I can be. Not just the best professional, but also the best woman I can be. And there's a way to snatch edges without cussing, without fussing, without throwing chairs chairs across the room. It's a way you can gather people up in a meaningful way. So thank you so much for inspiring me in that way. And I'm hoping that all the other queens out there, all you women of color, are taking note of Monique. Okay, you got the pen, you got the paper, and you was taking notes, auntie, because this is how you do it. This is how you command your respect. And I'm curious, y'all, to get your thoughts on this whole thing. Okay, I know it's a lot. I know it was a lot of tea to sip on. You feel me? I hope it wasn't too hot and it burned your lip. I hope it wasn't. Okay, I'm curious to know your thoughts. You know how we do. Make sure you leave a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. And I'll see y'all next video.